Welcome to episode 72 of Shane Talks, our new monthly format. This is the March of 2023 episode, which we have called March Action Madness. And on this month's episode, I'm joined as always by Jason L. Mayer, the greatest co-host in the history of podcasting. And this week we have two new virgins to the episode. We have a high school friend of Jason and I's that I have not spoken to in almost 20 years, and we've been chatting before this episode like it's been yesterday. So, Dustin Atteberry, it has been a pleasure to catch up with you, and I'm very happy you're on this week or month with us.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for inviting me. It's been great to catch up with you guys. I look forward to keep catching up with you guys. It's been too long, man.
Absolutely. And you probably know him as the Shape from Consternate, the 2000 film that Jason and I wrote and directed. For our first time on Shane Talks, we have Mark Buckwalter. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well.
Thank you for joining us on this.
Oh yeah. This is my first questionnaire.
Oh, you're gonna do you'll do the questionnaire at the end of the episode also. Which is gonna be fun when we get to that point. So with the new monthly format, section number 1 we do is what we call coming attractions. I'll go ahead and go first. Coming attractions is something that you've seen recently that has you excited for something that's coming out, whether it be a movie, a TV show, anything else in the world. There was rumors that there was going to be a trailer for this during the Super Bowl, and that did not happen. As you can tell from my attire and my background tonight, a couple of days after the Super Bowl, they did drop the trailer for season 3 of Ted Lasso, which has me insanely excited because I absolutely love the show. As anybody who's ever listened to an episode of this podcast knows, I bring it up incessantly. But yeah, so my coming attraction that I'm super excited for on the Ides of March, on March 15th, we will get season 3 of Ted Lasso to start streaming.
Just started watching the first season all over again. Want to try and get it all wrapped in, both seasons before the new season launches. Very excited myself. Lots of fun. Ted Lasso, if anybody hasn't seen it, if you're hearing us talk about it for the first time, it's almost like a feel-good show compared to everything else that's on TV, in my opinion. It definitely hits the right notes for me personally on a positive side of things. Especially in season 1, season 2 takes a little bit of a dip, but it's still like fantastic writing, fantastic acting. Definitely heavily recommend it along with Shane. So either one of you guys seen it?
I have not seen Ted Lasso. I've seen the previews of it, and it's one of the things I've kind of saved on the back burner, but I have not seen it. But I definitely think I'm going to have to put it up in the queue here and you guys talk about it.
Absolutely, man. It's one of those shows that, like, literally the first couple of episodes, you're like, why does anybody like this? I hate all of these characters. These are all terrible characters. And then every episode peels back the onion layer a little bit more. Why are you shaking your head? Jamie Tart treats his girlfriend like shit.
No. I disagree with you on that. There are some characters that are kind of crappy, but I feel like there are a lot of positive characters as well, right from the get-go. So,
okay. I mean,
that's just my
positive from the beginning. I get that.
So is Coach Beard. Like in his silence, he's awesome. Anyway, we could talk about a Lasso episode altogether. So
for sure. Jason, what's your coming attraction, man? What are you excited for this coming up?
You know, it's weird because I was trying to think of something that I could be like, oh, gotcha, and I've got nothing as far as that goes. I will say something that looks kind of interesting is Strays, which we saw a trailer for right before we watched Cocaine Bear earlier this week, and it's think Look Who's Talking, but like a R-rated version of Look Who's Talking with just dogs. I guess Look Who's Talking Now is what we'll say. Look Who's Talking Now, but with like Will Ferrell as the main dog, who's like content on like really wanting to mess up his owner because he hates.
Interesting.
It looks very, very interesting. And being a dog lover, having 2 crazy mutts myself, I'm very much looking forward to something so silly and ridiculous. So
we're showing our age dropping Look Who's Talking, man.
Right? Like nobody knows who anybody who's like 30 years old and younger is like, I don't even know what it is. I'm gonna have to Google that. So
the sad thing is the voiceover technology back then, that was groundbreaking.
Yes, it was. What were the other ones we had? Like Homeward Bound and Milo and Otis were the other ones.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yep.
Jesus.
All right, Dustin, what's your coming attraction, man? What are you excited for?
All right. Well, I'm gonna do a double dip here. I'm gonna do one TV show that I've been excited about, and I'll do a movie. Snowfall. I'm very partial to Snowfall only because obviously working for the government with CBP, we can get into that later, of course. But for you two that know me, it's kind of hilarious probably knowing what I do for a living now compared to how I was in high school. But Snowfall is definitely an interesting show for me because it highlights with some very dramatic realism of the cocaine and crack epidemic back in the 80s into the 90s, and they're very historically accurate in a lot of the stuff they portray. Freeway Ricky, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he was a crack dealer out in LA back in the early 80s, and he was the guy during the Reagan administration that actually was responsible for some of the largest cocaine distribution in the entire United States, and he was helping fund the Iran Contras. And yeah, and so Snowfall is loosely based on Freeway Ricky's life.
Okay.
So the new season, I mean, at this point, I think the new season's already started. The first episode, I haven't watched it yet, but I mean, I've been so excited for that show to come out because it's just, I mean, I'm telling you, it's like Game of Thrones, but for like the narcotic kind of drug life, but with a Game of Thrones twist to it, right?
Interesting.
And then the movie, I'm sorry, I don't know how you guys feel about Marvel movies, but I am just so stoked for frickin' Deadpool 3 because Wolverine finally putting the claws back on and coming back out, dude. Hugh Jackman, that guy, not only is he phenomenal in Broadway as a showman, and he's so multi-talented and multifaceted, his ability to go from Broadway fitness, which is completely different than Hollywood fitness. And he's even, I mean, that was the whole reason he retired the claws from the first point, right? Was because he was tired of getting into shape for Wolverine all the time and then going back to his primary love, which is, Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that Ryan Reynolds was able to hustle him into getting back and putting the claws on, man, I can't tell you, I feel like a 10-year-old boy. I'm so excited to see this movie, man. I'm so stoked.
Right there with you. We love Marvel movies around here.
Yeah, right on. But yeah, that's my two that I'm really excited about right now.
Awesome. All right, Mark, coming attractions for you. What are you excited about right now, man?
Really, well, there's a movie called Ambush coming.
Okay.
It's
why do I not know about this?
Well, it's a Vietnam era movie, and I think oh God, what's that act? Two-Face. Who's the guy to play Two-Face? Remember?
Oh,
Aaron Eckhart.
Yeah, he's in it.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So I'm that, and then there was a movie that already came out called Dig that Thomas Jane was in it. And I haven't seen that yet.
All right. Very cool.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like, I need to go find it and watch.
Nice. Very cool. I'm going to go last on my first time as we move into our second phase here. I'm going to go last because I got a couple of things that I could do if nobody else brings it up, because I know Jason and Mark and I have seen a lot of movies together recently. So Mark, let's start with you. What is something you've seen recently that you saw for the first time, and how'd you feel about it?
Honestly, this sounds weird, but some of the Marvel movies that everyone sees, I don't see them. Like I'm behind on it. So like I finally saw the second Doctor Strange.
Okay. All right. How'd you feel about it?
Seen that one. So,
Multiverse of Madness.
Right. Yeah, it was all right. And then and then the second series of Spider-Man. So the second Spider-Man. So the one that has Jamie Foxx when he's Electro in it.
Okay, so you're talking about the Andrew Garfield ones, the Amazing
Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield. Yep.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of those. I finally went back and watched them. So that, like I said, that's what freaked me out. And we're watching the new ones. I'm like, what the hell's all this? Like Michael Keaton, Batman. Like what the hell? So I'm just getting caught up. So I know that's weird. No,
that's what that's what this section's all about, for stuff that you haven't seen that you just now getting to. Dustin, what about you, man? You watched anything recently that you're excited or that you enjoyed or didn't enjoy?
I hate to admit this, man, but I just watched Megan, and man, I tell you what, as much as I going back to what we were just talking about showing our age, as much as I try to stay up with this techie stuff, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm at the age now where I'm finally falling behind. But watching that Megan movie, I'll tell you what, man, that scared the ever living shit out of me, only because of just how, you got Alexa and all this other Siri shit in the house, and then they literally personify it into a fucking 4-foot tall android who literally wreaks havoc.
Now, Dustin, scary. Let me ask you something real quick, because we're gonna have a talk about this movie now. Did you watch this on Peacock recently?
Yes.
Okay. I made the mistake of going to the theater to watch it because I was super excited for this movie that I thought was an R-rated, like, killer robot movie.
Yeah,
I get like halfway through the movie and I'm like, they're not showing any of the kills. They're cutting away from everything. Like, there's no cursing. Like, I get on my phone in the middle of the movie and I'm like, this is a fucking PG-13 movie. But on Peacock, they released the unedited version. Because they originally filmed it as an R-rated movie, and then it had a Super Bowl spot. When that Super Bowl spot came out, it was so popular on TikTok that the producer said, we need to make this for kids. We have to cut everything out of it. So I told Jason the only way I would ever watch this movie again, because I hated it, was if I ever got to watch the unedited version, which now I feel like I have committed myself to having to watch the unedited version because it's out there. So I will eventually watch it.
That fucking scene where she's dancing in the hallway.
Oh, yeah.
What's so fucking eerie about that, bro?
But then also the scene when she's out in the woods and chasing the kid down. That was one of the creepier scenes in that movie.
Well, what's funny is I had to do research because I wanted to see how much of that was obviously like, computerized or whatever. And clearly a lot of it is. But the little girl that plays Megan, it's watching the behind the scenes stuff that I found online where she's actually like there and they obviously put the face on holy crap, dude. God. I don't know if you guys are into like Android or animatronics or things like that. I'm really into robotics, and it's one of my secret passions actually. And even Amazon, they've got this new fucking it's basically a mobile security robot. But this thing has like a 12-inch LCD screen on it. It's got a body with wheels, and it patrols your house at nighttime. You can set up the security profile. What? I mean, it's literally like C-3PO, but hooked up to the Amazon network. It's fucking creepy, man. And they reached out to me to buy one. And I was like, man, I can't justify paying $900. You ever heard of Jibo?
No.
You never heard? Oh, hold on.
No, I haven't heard of Jibo.
I don't want to screw up this thing with pausing your thing. But anyway, right over here in let me see if I can point him out. Right there.
Okay.
That's Jibo. I bought that about 6 years ago, 8 years ago, when it was brand new. It's a robot on a swivel tilt base. That whole circular screen is its face. When he turns on, it's got one giant eyeball, like a dot. And it'll follow you around the room, and it's interactive and talks to you and shit. It's like the original Alexa without the profound network of capabilities, right? It failed. The company failed miserably.
Oh no.
But yeah, circling back, sorry, but that's just why I was so fascinated with Megan, man. Because that stuff is there's so many ties to the realism that it could be in the future. You know what I mean? Ugh.
Absolutely. All right, Mr. Mayor, what's your first time of the stuff you've watched recently? What do you got to say?
Trying to think of something first time lately. Like I said, went back for Ted Lasso, another round of that, if you will. We saw Cocaine Bear though. Like I can throw that out there. Cocaine Bear is ridiculous, silly, and exactly what you expect it to be. And
and based on a true story, loosely.
Very loosely, probably. I would imagine. But it's kind of one of those things that when you're watching it, you're just like I can't remember. I think I talked about it on this podcast at one point in time. We saw a movie. Shane and I screened a movie when we used to be movie theater managers, and it was we watched Pain and Gain. And Pain and Gain was the one about Mark Wahlberg as a gym owner, and he decides to do some crazy stuff. And
I know one of the detectives that worked on that case right up the road in Miami.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, The Rock and Anthony Mackie do all this crazy crap with Marky Mark. And there's a point in time where I remember like something crazy was happening on screen, and I turned to Shane and I was like, there is no way. And then literally within like 5 minutes of me saying that, the screen paused and said, yes, this really did happen.
Yeah,
right,
and it actually did.
And like, so it's one of those things that
movie is about 85% 85% accurate of everything you saw actually did happen, man.
That's crazy. And Cocaine Bear makes me wonder how much of that like would have ended up playing out that way, because it was a ridiculous movie. But it was a lot of fun. I found it entertaining. It's exactly what I wanted it to be as far as a film. It's not that great, but it was worth watching it. So
all right, we get a Mayor Kid cameo. It's Mayor Kid cameo time. Come into focus. Which kid is it this week?
I'm not sure what he's doing.
Get on camera, bro. Let's go.
Gotcha. All right, bud. Love you, dude. He's just running off. It's all right.
Wait, was it Nick?
Good night, buddy. I love you.
Was it Nick?
Yeah, it was Nick.
Good night, Nick. All right. So for my first times, I had either Cocaine Bear to talk about, or I guess since you brought that up, I can bring up Quantumania, like Ant-Man, which was just okay. Like, I didn't hate it. It was entertaining. It was fine. It wasn't the Kang that I was hoping for, but they still kind of did what I wanted them to do with Kang. So like, I'm not mad or upset about it. It was there. It was okay. It was fine. Rumors are Kang is going to be very involved with Loki Series 2, so I'm excited to see where that goes. I guess Jonathan Majors has signed on to do 5 of the episodes of Loki, so that should be fun to see him in.
That's annoying, right? Like, why do they give you that count? Like, oh, he signed for 5 episodes. It's like it should just be like he's on Loki, and like because now you're gonna be like, well, that's 1 episode. That's okay. Now we only get 1 more episode.
Well, apparently Deadpool is supposed to be in an episode of Loki too, they're saying.
Oh, that could be interesting. They're going to start doing all the Well, it would make sense, though, because the end of Loki season 1, the multiverse was beginning-ish, kind of. So, I can see
the whole premise of Deadpool 3 is supposed to be based on the end of Deadpool 2, where Wade started fucking with the time device.
Oh, sure.
And that's how they're gonna inject him as a mutant into Loki.
Oh, that'll be cool. I'm totally down for that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've hit our halftime point. Not really halfway, like time-wise, but through our 4 segments, we've done 2 of them. And after last week's episode, Troy was on last month. It'll probably be next year before I get this right. Last month's episode, when Troy was on here, him and I talked a lot after last month's episode. And I just decided I wanted to try to find a way to keep Troy involved every month that we do this. I absolutely love talking movies and stuff with Troy. So I've decided that we are going to, we already just rebooted the show last month, so we're going to add something new this month. Now every month we're going to have Troy's halftime talk. So after we do our first 2 episodes, I'm now going to throw it over to past Shane and past Troy, who had a conversation for our halftime show. Thank you, Shane. I appreciate the pass. I'm here now with Troy Myers. Troy's been a guest on the podcast a few times, and literally every time Troy is a guest, like when the podcast comes out, like he just starts texting me. We start talking about how much fun it was and how he enjoyed being a guest on the show. And so I kind of with this whole new 2023 stuff that we're doing, I was like, I got to get Troy on every single episode. I want him on to do something every single episode. So Troy and I talked a little bit, bounced some ideas around, and I decided I'm going to give him Troy's halftime talk. In the middle of the episode, between part 1 and 2, and then parts 3 and 4, we're gonna always every episode jump over to Troy to see what's going on with Troy this month, what he's got to talk about. We're doing the whole like March Madness basketball theme, action movies theme. So this is kind of hard for me. Anybody that knows me knows I'm kind of a control freak. I like doing everything my way. But I'm gonna turn this halftime show over to Troy. I'll be here to talk about whatever he wants to talk about. So Troy, the floor is yours, Coach.
Thanks for the pass, Shane. So this week, I know that the upcoming Mount Rushmore is about basketball movies, and I wanted to kind of get this out there before anybody maybe I can talk somebody out of it, but probably not, of making the fatal mistake of putting Hoosiers on their Mount Rushmore of basketball movies.
It's not on mine. It's in my top, I'd say 10, but it is not in my top 4. So I'm safe on that.
It is in my top like 0. Nothing I can say here is going to be new territory. If you really want to read the Roger Sherman article about the vague racism, the unlikability of Gene Hackman as a coach. I mean, he hit a kid. And the fact that like the team is just subservient to the star that is Jimmy Chitwood. But all these are just excuses for the fact that the movie is just really, really, really boring. And it makes you just want to leave Indiana more.
It teaches you about the principles and fundamentals of basketball in 4 passes.
What, that like if I glom onto a superstar, we can like just ride some coattails? Like, dude, nobody in that movie could even drive left. Like, it was all to the right. Like, I would have shut them down. I would have been like the Kawhi Leonard of like 1955 fucking basketball. And then the super insulting part is at the end, like the bad guy, the team that has to be vanquished is what? Just black guys?
Yeah,
that's
okay.
sad.
Yeah,
preying on like this inherent like white vulnerability when it comes to basketball. It's just like, are you kidding me?
Now hold on a second. Now hold on. Like, everybody knows that I hate biopics. I'm not a fan of a biopic. But this is literally what happened in the real thing. Like this was a bunch of white kids that played a bunch of black kids in the 1950s. Like, I don't think there was any underlying message over that. I think they were trying to be honest and true to what the real story was.
There were literally like 3 things that were true about that story.
Okay.
Like it was a small town that won the classic basketball championship. They had one singular star that drove them, and that was about it. There was no like new coach that came into town. There was no like coach who had died. There was none of this like bullshit that was played for drama. I was like, so if you're gonna add drama in all these other areas, why not give me like a legitimate bad guy to root for? Not just like depend on like the like audience's like inherent like inbred racism. It's like it just looks so ugly for our state, and I just wish they'd take I wish they'd take the title off of it. I wish they just send that movie scrappy.
Do these feelings resonant with Rudy?
Oh man, fuck Rudy. Rudy's about a nerd who made 1 tackle maybe ever, and he looked like he was offsides on that. Didn't even get that right. Like, fuck that. I don't want to talk about that shit. Okay, what I want to talk about is basketball movies. And if you're gonna watch a basketball movie about a singular talent working his way through the world of high school basketball without all the pretense of like teamy rah-rah bullshit, because when it comes down to it, he's just a singular talent.
Mm-hmm.
The best basketball movie of all time, little movie called Finding Forrester by Gus Van Sant.
Oh man, okay. Now see, a year or 2 ago,
it combines 2 of my favorite things: basketball and writing.
See, like a couple of years ago on the podcast, we had a huge argument and debate over this about whether that's actually considered a basketball movie, and a lot of people told me I was wrong. But since there's maybe 7 to 8 minutes of actual basketball in them, like, that movie's about writing, and I love the movie. I just don't know if I consider it a basketball movie. Like, there's not a lot of basketball. It's more about writing than basketball.
His ability to go on as a writer hinges on his basketball ability.
That's like telling me that O is a basketball movie.
Sure it is. Why not? White Men Can't Jump is a movie about Jeopardy and gambling. Okay, there's about like 10 minutes of basketball in that.
I'd say more than 10 minutes, but okay. All right. Okay. And I think this is why I was considered wrong in everybody else's eyes. But like, I consider Finding Forrester to be a drama about writing and about finding yourself, and that basketball is just like a side part to that.
Okay. Hoosiers is a movie about how like alcoholic inbreds who like beat kids that they coach, like triumph over the like unnamed African-American forces that are coming to rule the basketball kingdom. Like,
all right, okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Finding Forrester.
It's a great movie. I'm not arguing that with you.
It's a great movie. It has one of my favorite things, which is like really smart kids who are smarter than all the adults around them. There's a great history lesson about the BMW logo in it. You should go check it out. And it has Sean Connery saying, "You're the man now, dog," which is just like priceless.
Yep.
It's a way better basketball movie.
That scene when Sean Connery finally leaves his apartment is fucking powerful. Very powerful.
Yeah. It's more than Gene Hackman ever did for those kids in Hoosiers. And I normally stand Gene Hackman. Like I want to put that out there. Like I love Gene Hackman, but Hoosiers just ain't it all over the place.
Okay. So Enemy of the State, Gene Hackman. What are your feelings on that one?
He played like the president or some shit in that. Like
no, like he was a conspiracy theory guy that like had his apartment booby trapped and whatnot.
He's fine. I'm sure. Okay. He's great.
Okay.
Gene Hackman. No, I don't know. I don't know that I've ever seen Enemy of the State. That sounds like something I'm out on.
Yeah. It's a Will Smith vehicle from the late 90s.
Yeah.
So, all right. So cool. Finding Forrester. What else you got for me?
Well, speaking of other stuff that I'm out on, like Enemy of the State, Fast and the Furious 10 coming out.
Yeah, that's coming out. Yeah. Are you excited for it?
No. I remember watching the first Fast and the Furious at the Dollar Theater because I wouldn't pay full price to go see it. And I was just like, oh, this is a nice like Point Break ripoff.
It 100% was.
And then they made 10 more of those motherfuckers.
Well, they've made 9 more. They're working on the 10th one right now. But when it's all said and done, yes, there will be 10 sequels.
There's so many of those things.
There is no franchise I know of in the history of cinema that at movie 10 is so far from where the movie started at. Like with the first movie, which was about car racing and people stealing stuff off of semis, to at some point becoming secret agents, to at some point going to outer space. Like, and the problem
you gotta race in space. Duh.
And the problem is I buy it all and I love it. Like, they're stupid. They are not good movies, but I get exactly what I want from them, and that's stupid fun with characters that I've come to enjoy over a long period of movies.
Yeah, just okay.
Very mediocre. I'm not saying they're good in any way. I just get exactly what I want from them.
Nice. Good for you.
So you're not excited about it?
Not at all.
Not at all?
Hey, okay. Not into it at all. Let's see. Something I actually like. I highly recommend YouTubing the music video for "I Want to Sex You Up" by Color Me Bad. It's a nice trip down the early 90s rabbit hole.
Nice. Okay. Very
and
cool.
Oversized suits. I'm Team Kenny G guy. He's my favorite member of Color Me Bad. Watch that video. Watch that video tonight. You should link it up in the post. And if you have a chance, watch the movie Moonstruck. It's a quirky little movie from it's a quirky little movie from the 80s. It's Cher Goes to the Opera.
Yeah, okay.
It's an early performance by Nicolas Cage. And if you want to see Nicolas Cage give you an inkling of what Nicolas Cage was to become, for better or for worse, it is a perfect example.
Always for better. Always,
and it's fantastic. I love the guy. I recently saw it at the Artcraft Theater. Shout out Artcraft Theater.
Nice.
Franklin's a lovely town. That's really all I got tonight.
Were they doing like an 80s throwback movie series or something, or what? Why they have Moonstruck? Just randomly.
The Artcraft Theater plays a different old movie every week.
Oh, cool.
And it's just sponsored by like whomever, like local business or local patrons sponsor it. And it just happened to be Moonstruck last week. Nice. This week it's All That Heaven Allows, Douglas Sirk movie from the 50s. Go check that out too. It's really beautiful movie. Rock Hudson.
This probably won't surprise you. The last time I was at the Artcraft was last summer when Jason and I went and saw Terminator there. So like I kind of knew that they did old movies there, but I can't remember what their reasoning. They had a reason for showing Terminator. I don't remember like if it was an anniversary or something, but we went down there and saw Terminator.
Probably just because some group of bros were like, "Hey, dude, we want to show Terminator. Let's go."
Nice.
Yeah, it's
cool.
It's one of the best things about Indiana.
Is the Artcraft?
Yeah, not the movie Hoosiers.
Well, man, I appreciate your halftime talk tonight. I really look forward to doing this every month with you and getting some more like recommendations and things like that. What's going on in Troy's head and Troy's world right now, and I really appreciate it, man. If you had to pick your second favorite basketball movie, what would that be off the top of your head?
Oh, probably White Man Can't Jump.
Okay, that's a really good one. Very cool, man. All right, brother. I appreciate your time tonight.
You play the next 24 minutes for, well, probably a lot longer than 24 minutes, but you can be a hero tonight, Shane.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. That is so uplifting. And now I'm going to send us back to other Shane. All right, and we're back. Thank you, Shane and Troy from the past, for giving us that great halftime speech. That I really appreciate that. Section 3 of the show is called Mount Rushmore. This month I gave you guys the Mount Rushmore of, since we're kind of doing a basketball theme for March Madness, I wanted to know what you guys thought were your 4 best basketball movies. So, Mark, let's start with you, man. What are your? I know this is not your favorite genre, but what are 4 basketball movies that you like?
I'm not gonna be able to answer this one. Hoosiers.
Okay, Hoosiers. Right. We all just heard how Troy feels about Hoosiers, so.
I mean, today I was trying to think of that, and I was like, I thought like Hoosiers, like you got White Man Can't Jump.
That's a basketball movie, right? Yep, that's a basketball movie.
Those two, I'm like come to mind, and then I mean, this is not my forte. What's the Michael Jordan one for the cartoon?
Space Jam.
Oh, Space Jam. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we've got
Monstars.
The Monstars. Yeah. We've got you up to 3. What's one more basketball movie?
I don't know too many. God, I don't know too many basketball movies.
Consternate. Should be your 4th.
Here's one. Blue Chips. There you go.
Oh, great movie right there. Yep.
Yeah. So Blue Chips. Actually, I like that one.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you mentioned that. That got cut out of my top 4, so I'm glad you brought that one up.
Yeah.
All right, Dustin.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Above the Rim.
Oh, great one. Good choice. Yes.
I love that movie, man. Of course, obviously, rest in peace, Tupac.
Tupac Shakur, yeah. Marlon Wayans in that. You got Leon in that. Leon or whatever.
Definitely was gonna say Blue Chips as well. So
great movie.
Okay. That was one of my favorite ones. Obviously, Coach Carter.
Oh, that's
another
good choice.
one that I like a lot.
Another Channing Tatum movie there for you, Dustin.
We talked about. That's right. God damn it. Channing Tate, yum. Oh my God. What was that movie? What movie was that from? Where they're all at the end of the world and they're at what's his name's house?
Yes.
This is the end.
This is the end, dude. So horribly great.
I'll tell you what, that was not expected at all in that film. No. Like out of all the things.
Danny McBride gets out of the car with Channing Tatum on the chain on. He's like, Channing Tate, yum.
Oh, that movie was so mad.
But anyway, Hustle. It was the most recent one that I've seen basketball wise. Because I mean, basketball movies is a genre that they only make one so often. And honestly, I mean, like Troy was saying, there's not a whole lot that really stand out, to be honest with you. But Hustle, just because I think Adam Sandler in his older years is finally starting to break out of his box and starting to really test his acting chops, and he's taken on more serious roles. And Hustle was a highlight of mine for sure.
Absolutely agree with that. Mr. Mayor, what are your 4?
All right, so I had to think long and hard about this one.
That's what she said.
Womp womp. So kind of just underhanded that one for you.
Definitely did.
So
thanks for the alley-oop. See what I did there?
I get what you did there. I keep Hoosiers is not in my top 4. I think it's a fantastic movie. I don't know if it's just not in my top 4 for basketball. I just think it's a really well done film.
I think when I was younger, it would have been like 20 years ago. I think it would have been.
Yeah.
But I think we've had some good stuff because all of mine are on my list. My oldest one is from 1998. So
Yeah, and I was there was one that I was telling Shane about not too long ago that I remember watching and think it was really good, but I only saw it like once, I think, and that was sorry for my crazy dogs making all this noise. Knock it off. Is there was one with Eric LaSalle and Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle.
Is that the goat?
The goat. Yep.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that I remember liking that movie a lot when I saw it, but I haven't seen it in so long that I can't tell you if it'd be in my top 4, but I remember it being really solid when I saw it.
That was where they rumored that he had put the dollar bill on the top of the backboard and he jumped up and grabbed it off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy apparently was the best basketball player to never be heard of, essentially. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar even said he was the best basketball player he's ever seen. And but this guy couldn't get out of his own way with drug addiction and stuff like that.
Well, who was the Boston Celtic that they did the 30 for 30 on that literally like ended up like doing drugs and alcohol to the point that he
Len Bias.
Yes.
Yeah, they were saying that was a part of the tragic 3 that happened to Boston Celtics back in the 80s, man. That and that and Larry Bird hurting his back and damaging it, doing his own work in his house. So but yeah, so my top 4 definitely was White Man Can't Jump. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that I saw that in the theater. It was an iconic movie for us in the 90s, and I mean we're all at the same age pretty much. So we had that. We had Love and Basketball. Fantastic.
Oh yeah,
movie. We've talked about it in the past. Oh yeah, something on that. They just hit the to use a sports metaphor, they hit the ball out of the park on that movie, man. Like it's pretty damn near perfect as far as that execution.
Shit, you made me think of another one too. Basketball Diaries. That was another one.
Oh yeah.
But I never really got into that one that much. My other 2, I was trying to think of stuff that I was like, man, Shane, I can't remember what I told you the other night now. Holy crap.
I remember one of them because it's a stretch, but I told you could have it.
Oh gosh, what was that?
Basketball.
Please.
Oh yes, thank you. Basketball.
My God, stop it.
Like come
Stop
on, man.
it.
Like
don't remember what your other one was though. Finding Forrester.
And Finding Forrester. I was gonna be that guy. I was gonna be the Troy of our group for the night, like pulling out the movie that isn't really about basketball, but it is about basketball. So I love Sean Connery. He's awesome, and it was one of the last things he ever did. So like that was definitely made my top 4. So thank you, Shane.
I can't believe you dropped basketball, man. That's like saying the sixth. That's like saying the Sixth Man with Marlon Wayans.
Which I do love that movie, and that's very barely got knocked off my top 5. But
oh shit!
Michael Michelle in that movie is absolutely gorgeous, and as bad as the movie is, she is beautiful.
And none of us brought up Celtic Pride, so like,
that's right. Oh my god!
I know that's your absolute favorite basketball movie.
I do. I thought if anybody would do it, Mark would pull it out because him and I were the Celtics fans
I remember that.
So
I forgot all about that one, man. Shit.
Oh, it's so bad. And you know what? It was written, co-written by what's his face? He does all the stuff with Seth Rogen.
Evan Goldberg.
No, the other one.
Oh,
this is 40-year-old virgin. Judd Apatow, like co-wrote.
Yeah.
So like, and maybe I should go back and watch it again, but who knows? It was so bad. I saw that in the theater too, and like even being a Celtics fan, I was like, "Oh God, this is horrible."
But it's Damon Wayans, man,
and Dan Aykroyd and Daniel Schneider,
Daniel Stern.
So, Daniel Stern. Sorry, thank you.
I need to start going first.
I can't wait to hear your four, Shay, because I'm hoping you're going to say another one that I thought about.
I probably am not, but I need to start going first on this because every week people steal my ones that I'm like, nobody's going to bring this up. But we have on last month's episode, and Dustin and I, while we were catching up, we're talking about this one. Hustle is by far one of the best basketball movies I've recently seen that I think has just leapfrogged a lot of them. Like, it's such a good basketball story, and it doesn't do a lot of the stuff that you expect. So I found that it was a very fun and fresh, and Adam Sandler just nailed that character.
Yeah.
My third one is Coach Carter. For some reason, I just absolutely love Samuel L. Jackson in that movie.
Yes.
And like the you know, when they do the lockout and he talks about how he's there to educate the kids and not teach them to play basketball. Like, that movie itself is just, it's a great teaching tool for young men, in my opinion. Like how he teaches them respect, he teaches them accountability. Like, that movie transcends basketball. My number 2 is the only one that hasn't been mentioned yet. It's The Way Back with Ben Affleck. I'm obviously a huge Ben Affleck fan, but the alcoholism in that movie hits really close to home with me, and just like how he has so many good things that happen in his life, and then he chooses how to fuck it up. It's another one that's not a lot about basketball, but it is, and I feel like some of the scenes with him when he's coaching are just amazing. Then my number 1 is still, to this day, will always be my favorite basketball movie, is Love and Basketball, because I think it is literally a flawless film. The fact that it goes through those two characters over, 30 years of knowing each other, their ups, their downs, they both have emotional peaks and valleys throughout that movie. I think it is just one of the best. I don't know if you can call it a rom-com, but a rom-com that has basketball in it. Like, I think it's so excellently done. Dustin, what's the one you wanted me to bring up?
I was actually just thinking about this. The Air Up There with Kevin Bacon.
Oh, Kevin Bacon.
And then Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell.
Oh. Funny side story, Semi-Pro. I was running a movie theater out in Waltham, Massachusetts, which was where the Boston Celtics training facility is, or was.
Right.
Not anymore, it was. And they and Danny Ainge used to come in all the time, and him and I would talk stuff before he went into his movies and everything. They actually rented out our theater and showed an early showing of Semi-Pro at my theater as an organization. And I ended up sticking around for a little while, but then I was like, man, like at showtime, nobody was there. So I bounced out. And Rajon Rondo ended up showing up like right after I left for the night.
Oh shit!
And I was like, man, of course, like one of my favorite players, and of course I had to miss him because he was running a little bit late that day, and I wanted to get out of my building. So
right.
But yeah, that was kind of funny. I'm getting to hang.
That is cool.
It's interesting because it's one of those things that when I ran that building, I also ran a special showing for Jerry Seinfeld one morning.
Really?
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. We he was coming into town to do a stand-up special, and he wanted to watch a movie. He just a random thing. He was just like, I want to watch a movie. On a Saturday, like Friday night, late Friday night, I got a phone call from the other theater manager who ran our Cambridge location. And he was like, Jay, hey, I need you to, you can charge, I've already written up this contract. We're going to charge this guy a crazy, stupid amount of money. And but can you run a special showing tomorrow morning of I think it was The Visit. I think that was an Iranian film, maybe.
Really?
I think it was, I can't remember. It was a Middle Eastern film. I can't remember which country, but it's about a band who gets together and they're on this like cross country trip. But yeah, so like he was like, but the thing is, you can't tell anybody about this, man. You got to stay quiet. And I was like, okay, what the heck, man? Like, I don't want to come in early on my day. Like, I don't come in early on Saturdays. Like, we don't open until noon. What's going on? And he was like, it's for Jerry Seinfeld, and you can charge him pretty much whatever you want to charge him. And I'm thinking, like, we'll charge him like $1,200 just to watch this movie. Which I mean, like, normally we'd run it for like $300 or $400, but he was like, "Man, they're hitting us up at the last minute for this. Let's charge the heck out of them." And I was like, "Good call. I'll make 10% of it." And so it was one of those things where like Jerry Seinfeld came in that morning. I popped up some fresh popcorn for him, brought it into him while he was watching this movie, and like,
no shit.
Oh yeah,
was he a nice guy?
Yeah, he was fine. Like I dealt with his manager more than him, but he was super nice. He, can't say anything bad about the interactions. It was funny though, because like he was in the theater watching a movie, and then my staff showed up to like open the building. And I had already opened up everything because I had nothing else to do that morning. So I got everything set up for him. And then one of my staff, he was like, we were talking, and he was like, why is everything set up? And I was like, oh, we got a special showing for a guest this morning. And he was like, oh, okay. And he didn't ask anything else because, like, it wasn't that big of a deal for us to show movies to somebody or like whatever, or rent it out to whoever. But then, like, I didn't know it, but he was a huge Seinfeld fan. And so, like, we're standing back behind the concession stand, and here comes Seinfeld walking right down our main hallway. And the guy's just like completely frozen, just like looking at Seinfeld from across the lobby. And I'm like, Josh, man, calm down. He's just a dude. But yeah, Seinfeld
just a dude that gets paid $1 million per episode of a show that stopped airing over 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's just the guy's filthy rich, but hey, you know what? Like it was just kind of a weird, fun experience to have.
Yeah, that's neat, man.
All right, Jason, you've got me. Let's go off on a tangent here. We haven't had a tangent yet this episode. You've got me wondering, of all the famous people you've ever run shows for, has there ever been one that you were actually starstruck by?
Yeah, what's weird is like when they're coming, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
It's more when you're standing in line and then all of a sudden they're in front of you. Like when you're helping the guests get through everything. The one that I got starstruck the most by was Wes Welker and Larry Izzo. And that was the Patriots players. And I was behind the stand and I'm helping people and I'm going through the whole motion of everything. And then all of a sudden I look up and I'm like, that dude looks familiar. And Larry Izzo's got this huge beard and mustache. And I'm just sitting there like, I know this guy. Where do I know this guy from? And then I looked right next to him, and Wes Welker is level with me, eye to eye. And like, I'm like, holy crap, that's Wes Welker. And like, I was just like, I'm just sitting there staring at him for a second. And I was like, oh crap, like you're staring. Like, I was like, hey guys, thanks for coming. I was like, thanks for coming in. We started talking about stuff, and I shook Larry Izzo's hand, and like they walked in. Dude, not even like, I think it was like the next day, freaking Brady and Giselle came in. And like while I was like, me and the GM, who were like the sports fans, the other two managers never cared about anything about sports. Like both of us were off that day, and Brady and Giselle walk in and like just go through everything like normal, and nobody thinks anything of it because it was an art house. So like all these people didn't care about sports, and I mean, like not even wearing this shirt on purpose, obviously, but like, so then I came in the next day and like. And Howie was like, dude, we missed. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you free? And he was like showing me the video of like them walking. Like, how the hell were they in this? And nobody nobody's talking to him or nothing. And I was like, oh, that's funny. But I know my brother, Mark, who's you had an interaction with the big man during that Laker Indiana Pacers matchup.
Yeah, Shaq.
Nice.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Was he cool?
Yep. Yeah, he was cool. Yeah. I don't know the Mission Impossible 2. That's what he went to.
That's what he saw? Nice. Right on.
Yep. Mission Impossible 2. And he sat in the handicap section so he could put his legs out.
Right on.
That was at Clearwater. And I remember Mark telling me he came up and he was like, he ordered 5 botters of water, and you said he grabbed all of them with one hand.
Oh my God. Wow.
And I remember, I love this story because Mark was like, can I shake your hand? And do you remember what you told me? What it felt like? You said it felt like putting your hand on a couch cushion.
Dying. Oh yeah, your hand just kind of disappeared. You're like, yeah.
That's crazy.
Were they soft at least?
Yeah.
They were.
What I know, my brother, it was no big deal to see like Pacer players coming into the water all the time. Mark Jackson, Reggie Miller. I'll tell you the funny one. Vern Fleming. I saw Travis Best came in. Marshall Faulk came in, and I was I was wearing my Patriots jersey while I was working at Clearwater, because I worked behind the scenes, and I was wearing a Patriots jersey, and we had just beaten them like 2 or 3 weeks prior. And I was in the lobby getting a refill on my drink, and I like noticed that Marshall Falk was over at the manager station talking to somebody, and I'm sitting there, and I just kept like sitting there just trying to like make sure that my arms are waving around so you would see that I'm wearing a Patriots jersey. And then we I thought it was really cool because my brother always talked about how Jerry Garcia came in like right before he died.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Yeah, and they signed him in, and so they had his autograph. And
Oh, nice.
Literally
That's awesome.
the concert like 2 weeks before he passed.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
So that was kind of interesting and cool. The best story ever though was, as far as like celebrities that you're kind of surprised by, was Reggie Miller came in. And I know a few of you heard the story, but yeah, so we had this guy who was a special needs gentleman. He was probably in his 40s at the time. His name was Frank. And Frank was an awesome employee, but he was mentally on the level of like a teenage kid. And Frank was working behind the concession stand, and Reggie's house had burned down like within the last month that he was building out in Geist, when his wife lit it up on fire because she was pissed at him. And Reggie started walking out through one of the side exits through the lobby, and Frank was in the dead center of the lobby and just started yelling, "Yo, Reg, sorry about your house, man. Sorry about your house, Reg." And screaming it across the lobby. And we had a lot of people still, and you just saw Reggie like kind of pissed and like kind of like, "Yeah, man, thanks." And just like, but it was definitely a funny moment that we were always like, "Reg, sorry about your house, man." So
all right,
there goes our tangent on that.
Yeah, so. And I had 2 fun ones when I worked at Clearwater. I got to meet Peyton Manning during his rookie year. He was in an auditorium while I was cleaning it, and then his manager or dude that was with him was like, "Is there any way we can get out of here without going through the lobby?" And so I literally had to show him the exit doors at the end of the hallway. So that was cool. And then, of course, there's the Bobby Blotzer story and how we ended up going to the Rat concert that we didn't get to go into because the Vogue were a bunch of dicks. we were 19, so like, they were doing their jobs, but we were with the band and they wouldn't let us in. But Mark got to go to that concert.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you and Michael, they let in, but Jason and I got stopped at the back door, and it was like, "No, we're with the band." And like the band's manager was like, "These guys are with us," and the Vogue was like, "Nope."
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get into the feature presentation. The whole reason we're all together today. We are going to talk about, for the last couple of weeks, Jason's been posting in the Facebook group, voting. We started off with 64 movies. We started off with 4 regions. We had people vote on matchups. If you didn't watch my Selection Sunday episode, I explained how I matched them up the way that I did. I didn't know which matchups. I mean, I knew the 1 and the 16 and the 2 and the 15 played each other, but I didn't know all the other ones and what movies would get matched up together. So I just went to the IMDb. I clicked on action movies. I told it to give me the top, 500 action movies. I left out stuff from like the 50s and 60s because like I wanted this to be focused on those action movies from the 80s and 90s that we grew up with, like the ones that us and our friends are going to be really familiar with.
Right.
So I had the IMDb tell me the top 500 movies on there, and I started going through. At one point, there was going to be a Van Damme category, but I got through like the top 100 and realized there's only like 3 or 4 Van Damme movies in there. So I was like, maybe Van Damme doesn't need his own category. But yeah, so I would go through and I'd find the highest ranked ones for each of these actors we're going to talk about. And then I would jump over to Rotten Tomatoes also and kind of see what the percentage was over on Rotten Tomatoes. And then I kind of put all those Bruce Willis movies in order, all the Stallone movies, the Schwarzenegger movies in order. And then I picked 16 other ones that were very highly ranked on the IMDb and threw them into the at-large region. So I know there's a lot of stuff that was missing off of here. I know I've heard that, some people made some comments online about why I left off certain movies and stuff like that. and you can come at me, but it also was because the IMDb didn't have those movies very highly rated. So that's where I got my information from for this. So let's go ahead and start off talking about the Bruce Willis region. I'm going to list off the stuff that beat each other. If there's anything we want to talk about, we can. If there's nothing, we'll just move on. This is going to be great for my throat, so I apologize. Then in the Bruce Willis region, in the first round, the number 1 Die Hard beat the number 16 Hudson Hawk. Number 8, The Last Boy Scout, beat ranked number 9, Red. Number 5's Die Hard with a Vengeance, beat number 12, Last Man Standing. Number 4, The Fifth Element, beat number 13, Looper. Number 11, Armageddon, beat number 6, Sin City. So there's our first upset in the Bruce Willis region. Number 14, Live Free or Die Hard, somehow beat number 3's 12 Monkeys, which I don't get because that's one of the worst Die Hards there is. Number 7's Die Hard 2 beat number 10, The Jackal, and number 2's Pulp Fiction ended up beating number 15, 16 Blocks. Anything?
All right, so looking at this, right, like nothing really is a surprise until, like you said, Armageddon beating Sin City. Now, Sin City, the only reason it was ranked that high is because of the fact that it was a direct representation of Frank Miller's work, right? Like it's literally using his comic book as a storyboard so that it will be more cinematically pleasing, maybe, or even just so that it's more of a comic book than any other comic book. As far as that goes, Armageddon is a superior movie overall. And like, like Sin City, absolutely beautiful. And it kind of falls into that realm of Avatar, as far as I'm concerned. It's beautiful, but the story's just kind of
so, like, Avatar is a ripoff of Dances with Wolves anyway. So
it's a ripoff of Ferngully.
That too.
And then I'll go with Live Free or Die Hard. There is no reason this should have beaten 12 Monkeys.
Not at all.
12 Monkeys. I don't even. But can you call 12 Monkeys an action film? Like, that's the other thing. Is like, as far as action goes, out of those two, Live Free or Die Hard actually has some sequences that are real action sequences. Whereas 12 Monkeys, more of a come on, it's a
sci-fi
film. It's a sci-fi. It just. So I totally understand why it got beat, but like out of those two, I agree with you, Shane. 12 Monkeys should have won that.
Yeah, I agree too.
Mark, we got anything to say about the Bruce Willis stuff so far?
Everything. Yeah, like I said, I'm a last man standing guy over here.
Oh, okay.
Over
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
And I'm I actually like the. No. The list is good. Like I said, you're right. 12 Monkeys should have won that.
Right on.
Yeah.
So after all of those, we got to the next round where Die Hard ended up beating The Last Boy Scout. Damn, that was a tough matchup, man. Those are two phenomenal movies. Fifth Element ended up beating Die Hard with a Vengeance. Armageddon beat Live Free or Die Hard, thank God. And then Pulp Fiction beat Die Hard 2. And I know I heard that there was a comment online about why is Pulp Fiction considered an action movie? Like, what do you guys got feelings on that for?
I mean, I think Pulp Fiction's definitely an action movie. I mean, is it a wham bam shoot 'em up movie compared to like, Commando or freaking Rambo? No, but I still think Pulp Fiction could be quantified as an action movie. It's just not your stereotypical action movie. But I mean, I definitely think it's worthy for sure.
And I would say, like you said, Die Hard is a number one for a reason.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it beat The Last Boy Scout, and I'm sure like that's one of those ones where either one of those, if they won that round, I would have been okay with that. I mean, Die Hard for me is, we'll get to that later, but like, out of those two, like either one of those is fine. And then Fifth Element, I think, while it is silly and ridiculous and very cartoon-esque,
classic.
It's fantastic as far as action films go. So I have
it's classic.
Oh yeah.
So,
Mark, you got any comments on that round?
On the Willis?
The second round of Willis.
No, that's about right. Like I said, it's it's Die Hard.
Sure. Yep. And we go into the next round. Die Hard beat The Fifth Element, which again, like both stellar movies, but like Jason said, Die Hard's number one for a reason. And this is what hurt me the most. I really thought Armageddon was going to at least get one more round, but Pulp Fiction ended up beating Armageddon. And I don't know, man. Like,
I don't agree with that one.
I don't either. Like, yeah, Pulp Fiction's a fine movie, but I mean, Armageddon, like, Die Hard and Armageddon are the two Bruce Willis movies that I picture. Like, having to put Armageddon as 11th hurt me when I was doing this.
Yeah.
But apparently, not a lot of people online love it the same way that I do.
That freaking, I still cry when I hear that song, Don't Want to Close Your Eyes, starts playing. I still cry. I don't even give a shit. I'm 43 years old and I can admit it. I still cry.
Oh, man. Liv Tyler puts her hand on the screen.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Dude, Ben Affleck gives his most emotional performance ever when he's screaming at Harry after he pulls him out. Oh, Ben Affleck is such an amazing actor. I love him. All right, guys.
God.
We've hit the first point where we're gonna have to do some voting here. Well, you guys are gonna have to do some voting here. Where's my markup? Apparently I don't know how to edit stuff on an iPad. There we go. All right, guys. So our Bruce Willis region right now, when we're sitting at our Elite Eight, is number 1 Die Hard versus number 2 Pulp Fiction. I need some votes from you guys and why you think which one is better.
Die Hard is going to ever resound over Pulp Fiction any day of the week for me. I mean, dude, just this. I mean, the not only for back then where special effects was actually just the actors or the stunt doubles doing the actual stuff, whereas Pulp Fiction, I mean, they still had people doing the stuff, but I mean, dude, Die Hard is just it's the epitome of an action movie. So I definitely say Die Hard.
Mark.
Oh, it's Die Hard without a question.
Right.
I mean, I'm a Pulp Fiction guy, but no, dude, Die Hard's you can't beat it.
Well, Jason, unfortunately, that means your vote doesn't matter. But what would it have been?
Number 1 for a reason. Oh, come on!
Why is it blue?
There we go.
There you go.
There we go.
Number 1 for a reason. All right. So that is a clean sweep. 3 votes for Die Hard. Making it.
Can I ask one important question? Do you guys feel that Die Hard is a Christmas movie?
Absolutely.
Yes, totally.
100%.
Yes.
I watch it multiple times every Christmas. And the second one is a Christmas movie also. It's not as good of a Christmas movie, but the second one is a Christmas movie also. All right, guys, let us move on now to the Sylvester Stallone region. And I will read the first round on here. The number 1 Rocky from 1976 beat Cliffhanger, which was the number 16 seed. The number 8 seed Rocky 4 beat the number 9 seed The Expendables, which I thought was really weird. I thought The Expendables was a really good action movie. Number 12 Cobra beat number 5 Rocky 3. There's a lot of upsets that happen here in the first round of Stallone.
Go ahead.
That's interesting.
I don't shop here. Sorry. I just was on the line of the movie.
Yep. Number 12, Tango and Cash beat out number 4, Rocky 2.
Yes.
Number 11, The Specialist beat out number 6, Nighthawks, which I really like Nighthawks a lot. Billy D. Williams, I really enjoy that movie. Number 3's Demolition Man beat number 14's Daylight. Number 7, Rambo First Blood 2 beat number 10, Lockup, which was literally the only one in this Stallone region I've never seen.
What?
So I don't remember Lockup.
Oh man, good movie.
Was it? Okay.
Over the top.
Yeah.
And then number 2's First Blood beat number 5's Assassins. Anything that stuck out? Like I said, there's 3 upsets right there in the beginning of it.
Well, I think one of the reasons why The Specialist probably beat Nighthawks is because everybody is our age, and not everybody has seen Nighthawks. Nighthawks is a solid film. I think that could easily happen. Tango and Cash.
Mm-hmm.
Tango and Cash could have been in the top 2 in my opinion, because one of my favorite action movies growing up. I think it was just like a cool the cool back and forth between the two. It's almost Shane Blacklight. Shane Blacklight, thank you.
Yep.
What about Jack Palance, Tango and Cash, Cash and Tango?
Sugar is up. I can't believe it, as Mark would always say. So
great thing.
It is.
What are your feelings,
Cobra?
Mark?
I love Cobra, man. Cobra is like
Cobra
a
was
fantastic,
badass.
dark film. Like,
it's
still creepy to think about even now. So,
do you guys think I was wrong for including the Rocky movies in this? Should I are they considered action movies, or should I have cut them out?
I mean, they're action in the sense. I mean, yeah, there's fighting and stuff like that. But I mean, honestly, Rocky. I mean, even Stallone will tell you it was written as a drama.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It was never meant to be an action movie. It was a dramatic story of a guy who was on the down and outs who made a success of his life. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with including them. I mean, but yeah, when you're comparing it to Tango and Cash and Cobra and
the
Expendables. Then I would say it's tough to say that they're an action movie when you're talking that kind of a heavyweight movie compared to those, you know?
Yeah.
Well, and what's interesting is I think there's like a tipping point too. Like the first two Rockies, I think, are way more drama based.
Yes.
Whereas like three through the rest start swinging towards people want to see that fight, want to see.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
The montage of those fight sequences.
I would agree with that.
More action sequenced at that point in time. So.
All right, going on to the second round of Stallone, we had the original Rocky beat Rocky 4. Then number 13, Tango and Cash, took out number 12, Cobra, which I would agree with Jason. Like, I think Tango and Cash is a lot more fun than Cobra was. Number 3, Demolition Man beat The Specialist, which those two were right around the same time. But The Specialist, dude, like, not a good movie, but Sharon Stone in her prime.
Oh, yes, Lord. Preach. Yes. Say it again, Shane. Say it again.
That sex sequence in the shower is something amazing.
Yes, it is.
Something amazing is happening right now, just talking about it.
I think I just went from 6 to midnight. So
and then number 2's First Blood beat number 7, Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Okay.
That's First Blood though is like that's another one where it's more Rocky. It's kind of like Rocky 1, you know. It's more drama. Whereas First Blood 2 and all the other sequences of Rambo start getting more heavy action.
Did you guys ever watch? Speaking of Rocky, did you ever watch the actual? They did a story on the actual boxer that Rocky wrote that story based on out of Philadelphia. It was I can't remember the guy's name, but he was a brawler, a real life boxer, and he did a cameo. Which Rocky was it? I think it was Rocky 2. He did a cameo in it. But I can't for the life of me now. Of course, I'm talking about it. I can't remember his name, but they did a movie and an actual documentary on the guy.
Chuck Webner.
What it? Yes. My God, his life is literally like they could have just done a movie on him back then, and it would have been just as successful. Man, the guy was phenomenal. His career is so just crazy.
That's awesome. I knew nothing about that. Mark, you got anything to say about those matchups? Go ahead.
I'm going to read this really quick about this, though. Chuck Wepner, the Hammond-Egger professional boxer who nearly beat heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
And thus inspired Sylvester Stallone's series of Rocky movies.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, if you've never watched the documentary on him or the movie they made about him, you got to watch it. Definitely recommend it. You'll love it. If you like the Rocky movies, you'll love the documentary and the movie on that guy. He's fun.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
You can't make that shit up. I mean, the guy literally. I mean, you can as soon as you watch the documentary or the movie for that matter, you can definitely see where Stallone got his inspiration from. I mean, the guy literally went through all kind. He was literally working for a mob, beating up people just like Rocky's character did. He wasn't a really smart guy, intellectually speaking. He was from the streets. He went through divorces, drug, alcoholism, but he was still kicking ass in the ring. You know what I mean? The guy's story is phenomenal, man.
Very cool. Mark, you got anything to say about this round of Stallone?
Yeah, you're missing one. Stop or my mom will shoot. That's one that's
oh shit!
Good point.
That's the classic.
Estelle Getty.
That's the classic.
Estelle Getty. Yeah, man.
I will admit I dropped the ball on that one. That should have been on here somewhere. It could have taken the place of Assassins.
Yeah, I could have.
Who was the chick in Assassins?
Julianne Moore. Julianne
I
Moore
liked Assassins.
And was it Antonio Banderas in one of his first English-speaking roles?
Yep.
Yeah. I liked Assassins a lot.
Next round of Stallone, we've got number 1's Rocky. Ended up beating Tango and Cash. I'm sorry, Jason. I would have been okay with Tango and Cash winning. But the good news is number 3's Demolition Man ended up beating First Blood. So now we've got the matchup that you guys get to vote on and figure out. We have Rocky, the number 1 seed. Is it going to go down to the number 3 seed Demolition Man? Mark, start the voting.
Well, since it's action, probably Demolition Man.
All right, I love that.
Yeah, because just because Rocky, I don't. Yeah, it's not really. I mean, yeah, in that sense, yeah, it's Demolition Man. Yeah,
I got you, Dustin.
Oh, dude, come on, man. Wesley Snipes alone killed that freaking role, dude. So yeah, 100% Demolition Man all day, every day. Sandra Bullock, come on, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Sugar is up.
Mr. Mayor, what were you? What does your sign say this time?
Send a maniac to catch a maniac.
Catch a maniac. I like it. Woo, that's a clean sweep again. Demolition Man. So in a little bit, we're gonna have a really tough discussion about Demolition Man versus Die Hard. I'm not looking forward to that talk.
The 3 seashells.
Yep. All right.
They cut that out. Apparently, they had filmed an entire sequence where it was going to explain exactly what happened with those, and then they ended up cutting it out.
That makes me so angry.
we're like 20 years late, 25 years later, 30 years later, still going, I want to know.
I know. You know what made me so mad about that movie to this day? The sex sequence with the virtual headsets. That pisses me off to this day, man.
You know what's great about that is, like, think about that. In about 5 to 10 years, that's what's going to be happening. Like,
I know. God
weird
damn it,
like
Jason,
that.
Stop ruining my porn fantasies. Quit it.
Gonna have that headset on.
Oh God! Can you?
That looks really weird. Really weird when somebody walks into the room and you have that while you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, no kidding. Jesus.
All right, Mr. Mayor, since my voice is not getting any better, do you want to go ahead and take the Schwarzenegger region at least?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes, sir.
Region. So talking about the region of Arnold Schwarzenegger, we got our 16 movies over here. Number 1 in the first round, we had number 1, The Terminator, beating number 16, The Sixth Day.
Thank God.
Wow.
Yeah.
No surprise there.
Number 9, Running Man beats out number 8, Conan the Barbarian, written by Oliver Stone.
Did that make you mad, Mark? I know you're a big Conan fan, Mark. Did that make you mad?
I'm a John Milius fan.
Okay.
So I'm a huge fan of him. So yeah.
Number 5, True Lies beats out number 12, Raw Deal. This is hands down not even a question, in my opinion.
Yeah. Do you think True Lies should have been higher than 5? I was surprised. I was surprised that there were the other Schwarzenegger ones above it.
Yeah, I can see why you were, but I think it should have been higher. Number 4, T2, Judgment Day. It beats out Escape Plan from number 13, which was him and Stallone for the very first time in a movie together by themselves, because they were in Expendables for a short period of time before that. Right. Next up, you had number 6, Commando, beating out Red Heat, number 11. We got to let off some steam, Bennett. It totally makes sense that number 6 takes out number 11 here. So number 3 is Total Recall, beats number 14, Sabotage, which Sabotage was actually
not bad.
It was an interesting movie.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I like the cast a lot.
The cast was really well done. I felt like it lost something in the editing. So obviously, no problem with Total Recall winning this one. Then we have number 10, Kindergarten Cop, Not really an action movie, in my opinion. Beating out Last Action Hero #7.
What?
This is Last Action Hero definitely should have won this one for me personally.
It was also disappointing for me that his two comedies had to go up against each other in the first round. Like, when that played out, that was really disappointing for me.
I mean, dude, The Last Action Hero made it an action movie just because of the fucking soundtrack with AC/DC.
Oh,
I mean, come on, dude. Thunderstruck?
Yep.
And then you have #2, Predator, beating #15, End of Days, which if you ever saw End of Days, I'm sorry, and you deserve your ass kicking from Predator.
Yep.
So we definitely have that. Any comments from anybody?
Well, I will say that I'm a huge fan of The Running Man. That was one of my favorite Arnold movies growing up. I don't know what it was about that damn movie, but I watched that over and over and over again. Jesse the Body Ventura, man, he cracked me up for that damn movie so much.
Wasn't it written by Michael Crichton? Wasn't that a Michael Crichton?
Yeah, and it's based on a Stephen King book.
Or maybe that's what I'm thinking of as Stephen King.
I'm like, I don't know the answer to either one of those, because I want to say, was The Running Man the short story by Stephen King, or was it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, yep. No, you're right. King. Based on because he wrote it as Richard Bachman. So, you're right. It is a Stephen King book. My fault.
Yeah.
I knew it was based on like an author that I knew and I liked. I don't know why I thought it was Michael Crichton, but yeah, Stephen King. That's also.
Shush. All right, so then we'll move to the second round. #1, The Terminator, beats #9, The Running Man, which I've got. This one's a toss-up as far as I'm concerned. Either one of those would have won. I totally would have been okay with that. Second up, #4 is T2, beats out #5, True Lies, and this
didn't see this coming. Yeah, I didn't see this.
It's a tough one, man. Both Jim Cameron movies, both fantastic films. True Lies was made pretty much right after Judgment Day. So next up, we have #3's Total Recall, beating Commando, #6. Commando. So Total Recall, I don't know. This totally seems okay to me. The only upset, we haven't had an upset yet. We still don't have an upset because Predator beats Kindergarten Cop and Predator was 2, Kindergarten Cop was 10. So everything kind of falls in place with Arnold Schwarzenegger's region here.
I mean, it's the top 4 that made it on, so that's weird.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep moving on. Totally makes sense. Anybody here sad that anything lost in particular?
Well, only because Running Man, but that's just me.
Understood. Next up, so we got 4. Terminator 2 Judgment Day beats #1's Terminator.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it.
Mark, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it.
Do you agree with it?
But well, no. I got 2 answers to this.
All right.
Terminator 4 by far the better action movie, popcorn movie. There's something about the first one, Arnold being bad. There's a dread to it. So I prefer the first one over the second. Second one's it is a bit like it's an action movie. It's a better action.
I was going to say the first one's a horror film, man. To me,
hell yeah.
The first one's a horror movie. The second one's an action film, and they're both great in their own regard. And here you have somebody who also went from a horror genre with Alien and turned it into an action film for Aliens. So he does the same thing with the Terminator franchise, and I think it worked perfectly. Nothing's been good since T2 as far as the Terminator goes.
No.
But for an action sequence, this is definitely right on the right space.
Yeah.
So, then our next one is #2's Predator, beating #3's Total Recall, beating the 3 titty girls. So,
I know. Rest in peace, titties.
Come on, out of these 2, Predator, like Total Recall, like while it like it's Paul Verhoeven directed it, it's got that cheesy factor to it. Whereas Predator 2 feels rooted. in like realism almost, and like real, like I don't know. I felt like, and to hear the stories of those guys and how they were like competing against each other at weightlifting and like other champagne bottles and stuff like that on weight.
And Carl Weathers, that was when he was at his pinnacle of fitness too, man. Like that dude was a monster, bro. A monster. And he still looked small next to Arnold.
Oh yeah, that handshake at the beginning, you son of a bitch,
dude.
It's just perfect, man. And you know, it holds a special place in my heart. You know, we've talked about it on this podcast before. I was 6. I watched it in the theater when it came out, opening. Like dude, there's something about that movie that will forever stick. So
what was the Native American guy's name that played in that movie? He was always overlooked in history of action movies, but he was such a good character in that movie. He was one of the few Billy. He was one of the few Native American actors that were actually in movies back in the day too. You know what I mean? There wasn't a huge representation for that culture of people, I guess you could say. So he was really a really famous actor for that period.
He's passed away. He passed away back in 2017. His name is Sonny Landham.
Sonny Landham, that's right.
And but yeah, man, that movie, man, is pretty damn near perfect. So
yeah.
All right, Mr. Mayor. So that means you got to pick between Terminator 2 and Predator. Which one are you voting for?
Terminator 2 and Predator. It hurts so much because of the simple fact that I normally like think of T2 as my number, like really high up on my action films. But when you really take into account the action sequences and everything else, I'm picking Predator.
Oh, going with Predator. All right, that's one vote for Predator. Dustin, where you going, Predator or T2?
Well, let me ask a question before I vote. Are we talking about T2, the extended version, or are we talking about the original cinematic version for theaters?
Of course. You have to be that guy.
That's right. I do have to be that guy.
You can choose whichever one you want it to be.
Oh, all right. Well, if I was going with the extended version, I would say T2, but you know what? I'll stick to the theater. I would say Predator hands down if it's going to theater.
All right. Mark, what would your vote have been?
Oh, well, remember, Predator, you really get 2 movies. Because you get the beginning, it's like you got like a military movie where they do the insertion into the hacienda with the the hostage. And then the second part of it is you get your sci-fi movie.
True.
So it kind of turns into sci-fi. So
I like how you went deep with that.
Yeah,
you went deep on that one. I like that.
So, not even a question. Hands down, Predator.
All right. Predator wins the Schwarzenegger region. All right. Mr. Mayor, will you give us the at-large rundown?
At large, I've got a comment before we even get into this. I don't know how this didn't end up in the at-large section, personally, because I love this movie. I think it's fantastic, and its action sequences are great. Doug Liman directed it. It's so much entertainment for me. Edge of Tomorrow should have been in this category.
Oh, yeah.
Should have been in this region. I don't know. Yes. Instead of some of the other ones that are on here.
One of my favorite sci-fi action movies is Edge of Tomorrow.
Dude, and I've talked about it and I've raved about it on this podcast in the past, but like that specific one, I just want to bring that up because
okay, so you got to bring that up, and now I'm sitting here going, well, none of the Mission Impossible movies made this list at all. Like, I probably should have had at least 1 or 2 of the Mission Impossible movies.
Top Gun didn't make this list either. Not that the
stop it.
We could have done Days of Thunder, baby. No, the Edge of Tomorrow just sticks out to me because it is one of my favorite action films of all time. So
I agree with you.
At large region, but we'll go right down the list. Number 1, The Behemoth. Aliens beats Hard Boiled at number 16. Next up is Lethal Weapon with the upset over Heat.
Which I know Jason hates Heat, but like I was surprised by that.
I don't hate Heat. I just don't think it's as good as everybody says it is. That's my personal issue with Heat. 12, Leon, the professional, got beat by beats number 5, Raid Redemption.
This was the Battle of the Colons, and as much as I love both of them, I'm sad that Raid Redemption lost.
And then we have number 4, John Wick beats The Bourne Identity, number 13. And then we have number 11's Face Off beats number 6, RoboCop. Whoa.
Like, that's a tough matchup, man. That's a tough matchup.
Number 3, Raiders of the Lost Ark beats 14, which was Kill Bill smashed together to make one movie, parts 1, part 2 together.
I kind of did that to get more movies like on this list because IMDb had them separated, but they were both still really high up. So I was like, I'm just combining them so that it only counts as one movie.
And then we have number 7, The Matrix beats number 10, Point Break.
Wow,
that's a tough another matchup, man. Yeah. Number 2, Enter the Dragon beats 15, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
The Battle of the Dragons.
Yeah, I would say on this list the upset of Lethal Weapon over Heat, I've got no problem with it personally.
I don't either. Yeah, I don't either.
But then looking at Face Off beating RoboCop, John Woo's fine. But RoboCop's RoboCop, man. And once again, my affinity to movies that I saw while I was way too young, probably. And then everything else matches up and makes sense. Any of you got a comment for these as far as this matchup goes and how it goes?
No.
So does Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I mean, I know IMDb considers it an action movie. It should it have been on this list?
That's a tough one. I think that's definitely on the
it's like an adventure movie, but I don't really know how much.
Yeah, because the Mummy's not on here.
Yeah, that should have been on here for. Oh, that would have won the whole damn thing. I just watched that movie like 2 nights ago. That movie is still flawless to this day.
So, yeah, some entertaining films here for sure, but. I feel like everything pretty much worked out. Raiders, I don't know if I'd have it in this category, but with it being where it is, it makes sense. Next lineup is the next round of voting was number 1, Alien beats number 9, Lethal Weapon. Once again, makes sense to me personally. Next up is John Wick's number 4 beats out number 12, Leon, the Professional. Both about hitmen. John Wick does it better.
Can't argue that. Love them both, but I can't argue that.
Yep. Number 3 is Raiders of the Lost Ark beats number 11, Face Off. Out of those two, as far as action films, I would say Face Off is more of an action film than Raiders, so you could have flipped that. But I totally get it because Raiders is number 3.
Yeah.
It earned its spot for a reason. Number 7, The Matrix with the upset over Enter the Dragon at number 2. Personally, this makes perfect sense to me.
I agree.
While I do love me some Bruce Lee, and Enter the Dragon makes perfect sense for an action film, The Matrix is something that was so groundbreaking, so different for us as moviegoers. So, anybody else comment-wise?
Should have took the blue pill.
All right. So our next up lineup is number 1, Aliens beats number 4's John Wick.
Didn't see that coming.
No,
really? I didn't. Dude, I thought everybody would be so we all love John Wick so much. I thought it was going to overtake it.
And then number 7's The Matrix beating number 3, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Here's actually the funny story that I've got about this matchup right here, where it was Aliens versus John Wick. So we had 23 people vote. Hold on, no, because it was 11 to 10. We had 22 people vote in this last round of stuff, and when it came down to Aliens and John Wick, Aliens had 10 votes. Aliens had 11 votes. John Wick had 10 votes, but there was one person that did not vote for anything between the two of them. So had that one person voted for John Wick, then it would have been a tie, and I would have had to figure out how to do that tiebreaker. But yeah, so I always thought that was weird because literally the one person that abstained they voted in every other category, but for whatever reason, they didn't pick something between the two of them. And it ended up being how Aliens won. So I thought that was really funny.
Interesting.
All right. So now we've got number 1's Aliens versus number 7's Matrix. Who's going to vote first?
Oh, man. That's tough. All right. Well, I agree with Jason on Matrix. It was a groundbreaking film, but because I have such an affinity for the Alien saga, I'm going to go with Aliens, man. Just because I am just fascinated with the Tetrabyte freaking alien. Aliens, man.
All right, Mark.
Oh, it's Alien.
Oh,
no question.
Jason, I'm assuming you were Aliens also. What's your paper say? Oh, it would have had the upset. All right. Oh, Mayor, I did not see that coming from you at all. I wish you had won.
I out of those two, man, like, and you know what's weird is I could swear to you that Aliens, Jim Cameron is all over this list, right? Like you got you got Terminator, you got T2, you got True Lies, you've got Aliens. So like this guy has his handprint in all of my favorite action movies of all time. And the only thing I can think of is that The Matrix is literally just so, again, different and groundbreaking for what we were expecting at the time. And Aliens, I'd never seen anything like that when I was 6, but like to surprise me when I'm 18, 19 years old, it was kind of to be able to surprise me still at that point is kind of awesome. So that's the reason why I would have voted for Matrix on that as far as that goes. Is there really a wrong answer between Aliens and Matrix? No, I don't think there is.
No, I don't either.
It was a solid argument on either side of those. So,
all right. Now we got some even tougher decisions to make, guys. We have number 1's Die Hard going up against number 3 Demolition Man.
God, that's a tough one, bro.
It is. It is. And I'm glad that I don't have to pick between them, so I can't wait to see how you guys decide which one you're picking. Mark, is it even a question with you?
Man, I don't have the prop on me. I should have busted out Seagram's, man. Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler. Absolutely.
So that's 1 vote for Die Hard there. Number 1 for a reason. Dustin, you're off the hook. You don't have to pick.
What would you have picked, Dustin?
Die Hard's going on ice like Stallone did in.
Well done.
Yeah.
All right. On the other side of the bracket, we've got Predator against Aliens. Ooh, Alien versus Predator. AVP.
Oh, AVP.
AVP. Right now.
Don't watch those movies if you've ever watched.
Yeah, they're terrible.
You stayed away from them this long, keep staying away from them. So.
All right, Predator versus Aliens, guys. I gotta know.
God. Jason, you go first.
Oh man. Oh.
Sorry, man. I need help.
Oh. There's and they both have that military aspect.
I know.
Both of them are so kick-ass, and so many multiple characters kick-ass in both of these films. Oh, damn, this is really tough. You know, so going back to what we were talking about, John McTiernan is another one who's on this list.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
You got Die Hard, you got Predator.
Mm-hmm.
And he did Last Action Hero.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, oh crap! Hey Shane, guess what though?
What's up?
I have a 3D version of Predator on Blu-ray.
Oh, how am I not even close to surprised about that?
And it's really a good conversion, so it's actually really entertaining, especially like
is it red blue? Is it red blue?
When it's the insertion, no, it's the polarized. Okay. Nice try. So when they're doing the insertion at the beginning as the military group, there's a point in time where Billy's on top. The way that it's filmed is like down on the lower is like in the foreground, but he's on top of like some cargo stuff into the top right hand corner of the shot, and he's like firing his M16 or whatever from that area. And the depth perception on that alone was pretty freaking awesome when I watched it in 3D.
So my question for you is, do you own a 3D conversion of Aliens?
They didn't make one.
So I know what your answer. I know what your vote is for then.
I do have I actually spent the extra money to get the Japanese region free Terminator 2 3D Blu-ray, because that was something that you couldn't buy in the States, but the 3D version did exist. So I was very sad for the fact that I didn't get to see it in theaters, but I do own it for my home viewing pleasure. And it's not.
You're delaying, Jason.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
I am. It's not because I own the 3D version.
Okay, Predator it is. That's one vote for Predator.
But Predator, I think, is a better action film overall. And I love Aliens. But it's just what it is.
Mark, Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, this is tough. This is tough. I still go back to that. It being a very, you can watch that over and over and over. Hey, maybe that's the real Magnificent Seven. That group, the hell those new guys did, So yeah, I mean, it's just that there's too many characters. There's too many. I mean, they're bigger than life, and I'm always watching or quoting it or.
Sure,
dude,
that's a fact.
On my phone, long tall Sally. That's one of my ringtones.
Nice.
So dude, it's Predator.
Well, Dustin, you're technically off the hook, but I still want to know what you would have picked.
Well, in the words of Bill Paxton, game over, man.
Okay, so not a clean sweep for Predator. All right, here it is, guys. The finals. Die Hard, the number 1 seed in its region, against the number 2 seed Predator in its region.
You know what's messed up is looking at all these different regions, Shane.
Yep.
You had number 1 in Die Hard. You had number 3 Demolition Man. You had number 2 in Predator, and you had it's number 1 again. Never mind.
Number 1 again, yeah.
I thought for a second there it was 1, 2, 3, 4 again. So, but no, we're good.
But still, a diverse. It wasn't 4 number 1s at the end.
Yeah, definitely not.
All right, so Die Hard and Predator now. Mark, Die Hard versus Predator.
Oh fuck! So I go first. Huh?
You go first, man.
Man, because then you got to answer this question.
Yeah.
Compare the bad guys, right? So you got Hans Gruber, right?
Mm-hmm.
Comparably to the Predator.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Predator was cool. Man.
But is it 1 good guy versus 7 bad guys? Or is it 7 good guys versus 1 bad guy?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the Predator was just misunderstood.
Yeah.
I mean, when Disney does own the Predator now, so I'm sure we'll get a Predator TV series where we will now understand why he's doing what he's doing, and that he's not really a bad guy because there are no bad guys in Disneyland.
That's right. He's got 4 little Predator children to feed.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
He's a single dad now. The one that Arnold Schwarzenegger killed was actually a female,
right?
And so now we can all hate on Arnold because he killed the female once,
right?
So.
All right, Mark, what is it?
Man, I hate to do this to Bruno, The Return of Bruno. Great album. You all right? See, I got to throw that reference in there, right?
Yep. You had Seagrams, now you got Bruno.
We got Bruno, Return of Bruno, man. But yeah, it's got to be Predator for me.
It's Predator for you, all right.
That sucks. Yeah.
We got 1 Predator vote. What do we got over on the Dustin side?
Predator.
Oh shit! Did not see this coming. Number 1 for a reason is going to go down. Number 1 for a reason goes down. Biggest upset I've ever seen. Biggest upset I have ever seen. Wow. Predator wins.
It wasn't even a hard choice for me, man. I like Die Hard and all, but I think Predator is just phenomenal.
Woo! Vegas odds are going crazy right now. They can't believe this upset. Oh man, that was a lot of fun talking about those movies, guys. Thank you. Good times. So, yes. Both Dustin and Mark, we do something on this show anytime we have somebody on for the very first time. We do what's called the Horowitz Questionnaire. It is based on a article that our friend Troy read back in like 2008 or something and posted a blog about it when everybody was blogging back then. A bunch of our film friends all ended up answering it. It used to be 19 questions. We've cut it down to 10. But every time we have somebody on for the first time, we ask them these questions. So, Mr. Mayor, if you wouldn't mind going with question number 1, and then we'll just have Dustin answer and then Mark answer. These aren't really up for discussion. It's just to kind of get to know you and your answers. We can talk about anything, but it doesn't have to turn into a discussion.
Right. Shoot.
Just a moment. I lost my screen. All right. We're good.
Cool.
Are we going to do Mark or Dustin and then Mark?
Yeah.
Or are we going to go back and forth?
I mean, we can do it either. I don't care. Whoever wants to answer first.
All right. So the first question is, what is the first film you ever remember seeing?
Oh, man.
You ever saw?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, do it.
Either one.
All right. The very first movie that I remember seeing, and it's sad to say because I've probably seen tons of movies before this, but it's the first one that stands out. How about that? Because I've had so many head traumas. Ice Pirates.
Ice Pirates.
Pirates. Wow.
All right. Yep.
Wow.
I love that movie to this day.
Movie. Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I heard those words.
Let's take Star Wars and put it on an ice planet.
Yeah, I know. I know I saw it once, but like that's just one of those movies that like now it's in my wheelhouse if I need to go back to this because I haven't thought about it in 30 years.
It so much. But that's the first movie I remember ever watching. I mean, I remember watching Star Wars and all that, but I think I saw Ice Pirates before I even saw Star Wars. Believe it or not.
Wow. All right, Mark, what's your first movie you ever saw?
Is this in the movie theater or just a movie?
Just the first movie that you have a memory of seeing it, whether you were at home on the couch watching an HBO Saturday night movie or a Saturday afternoon movie that you remember watching, or a VHS tape that you remember putting in and watching for the
at the theater or
at the theater. Yeah, whatever your first memory is of watching a movie.
Well, if it's at a theater, then I know which one. It's Empire Strikes Back.
Nice, great.
That's the first movie I went to. They took it.
Cool.
So
I remember I know I saw other movies, but the first one, and I've done this questionnaire in the past, but my first one that I ever remember seeing in ever can recall is Return of the Jedi,
and that's the exact same one for me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, question number 2: what is your favorite film of all time?
Oh God, Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, that's a good choice. That is a solid film. That has a little bit of everything in it.
Yep. Another Stephen King novel.
Yep. 4 seasons. Mark, all-time favorite movie.
Is it right behind you? No.
It's on his arm. Yes.
It's on my arm. Jaws, baby.
Jaws, nice.
That is a great choice.
Nice.
Arm, sleeve, everything. Yep. Jaws.
That is a great choice. Jaws. Yep. We've talked about it before on this show, how like it's crazy that Jaws is attributed to being the first ever summer blockbuster. And when you go back and watch it, it is so not what summer blockbusters have become.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry, Mark. I'm not trying to badmouth your movie, but like that is one of the most boring movies to watch.
Well, no, that will never get shot again. They'll never shoot a movie like that ever again.
Not at all. Like it's like the acting is great, the storytelling is great. Like there's really good stuff in it. But 2 or 3 years ago when I watched it, I was just like, man, this movie is slow. Man, like
slow.
For a movie,
it's
about
a slow burn.
Yeah,
it's a slow burn.
Not a lot of. I think is there only 3 action sequences in it?
And I would say this here. I don't know if you've done this before as far as categorization.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that this is the one time. It might be another movie where the movie is better than the book.
Oh, okay.
Usually
I don't know anything about the book.
Yeah, usually it's the other way around. Usually the book's always better than the movie.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. But this one, no, I've read the book several times over. No, the movie's better.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Mayor, question 3.
Oh wait, he said Shawshank, my fault.
Yep.
Number 3, what is your favorite line from a movie?
Oh man. That sucks.
Jason's bed. Your bed's over here. Sorry.
Oh God. I mean, he said Jaws, and all I keep thinking is we're gonna need a bigger boat. You go ahead first, man. I'm trying to think of one, man. God, that's a tough question.
What you got, Mark? What's your favorite line from a movie?
Well, I this is going to give away later answers. I don't know. I could give one big answer to this guy because this guy's my hero. Go ahead, make my day.
That was a stellar performance right there, sir.
I don't know. I can't do that. Great.
No.
It was great. I'm being serious.
Right. Probably that line, but there's several. Or you got another one would be nobody, and I mean nobody, puts ketchup on a hot dog. That's a good one. Yeah, I love that one too. So
good choices. All right,
I can quote them all night. Yeah.
Oh my God! Only because I watched it so many times when I was a kid, and I still love it's my and I know in this crowd I'm gonna get hated on for this, but my favorite Rocky is Rocky IV with Ivan Drago, and Ivan Drago says if he dies, he dies. I freaking God, dude, that was just so cold blooded, and it always sticks out in my head. Yeah, that scene was cold blooded.
Mm-hmm. All right. Question number 4 is what movie made you realize that film is an art form? Like, what was that movie that you watched and you just had that moment where you were at the right age where you were like, this is more than me just watching Star Wars because it's space shit. Like, this is an emotional movie that has made me realize that storytelling is different from just watching film.
I got one for that easily, just because of my military background. Apocalypse Now.
Okay, all right, I can definitely see that. Mark, what you got? What movie made you realize it was an art and not just moving pictures?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Because I was never like a big, I love movies, but I never really thought of them that way until later. So I'll give a recent one. I don't know about my first one. I can't think of, but Memento.
Oh,
that's a great movie.
Yes, absolutely.
That when you watch that, man, that makes you you really stop and think, and you're like, wait a minute,
yes,
whoa.
Yeah.
So I know I've talked about this before on here. I don't know how you can really do it now. The Memento DVD that came out back in 2001, there was a code you could put into it, and it would show you the movie in chronological order. So instead of watching it backwards, you could watch the film in chronological order, and it is literally on par as good as the actual reverse Memento, because it becomes a completely different film. When you watch Memento, the way Memento is presented normally, you are experiencing Leonard's inability to know what happened beforehand. So as it jumps back to the previous scene, you are learning something that Leonard didn't know that you didn't know when you saw what happens next. However, when you watch it in chronological order and you know things that Leonard doesn't know because he has forgotten them, it gives the movie an entirely different vibe, an entirely different.
Jesus.
You feel very bad. Like, you feel bad for him when you're watching it in reverse because you're like, oh, this guy doesn't know what's going on. Oh, this is what's going on. But to have that story narrative played out to you in chronological order, it's an insanely different film that still is just as good as the original version. Like,
you just blew my mind. I didn't even know that existed. I have to find that. I own the DVD because that's all, but I don't know if it's available on Blu-ray and that version's on there also. I don't know if somebody has put it on YouTube maybe where you could watch it, but like, man,
I should hunt it down so I could tell people when I talk about this, like there is a chronological version and it is just as good as the real version you've already seen.
I'll have to seek that out for sure.
Yeah. Jason, question number 5.
What movie do you consider your guilty pleasure? What's a movie you hate that you hate that you love it? Let's put it that way.
I feel like Mark's gonna have a list for us here.
Well, I dwell in the bad movies. That's where I live. Yeah, but I actually it made me think of this. Now this is a guilty pleasure because it's not a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, it's fantastic.
Which is?
And I got it right here. Stone Cold.
Oh
baby.
my
right here.
God!
This is it.
Oh my God!
Look at that action.
You did
on the
not
back.
just pull out Stone Cold.
It is a VHS tape.
Holy shit, man!
You can't beat this, dude. You got nudity. You got explosion bikes.
Wow!
Everything you want, guns, everything.
I am not worthy. Oh my God!
I'm telling you, dude.
Holy shit!
And
I love
watch
that
it on
movie.
VHS.
I
Forget
love
all
that
this 4K.
movie.
Hell no, screw all that, dude.
Oh
VHS.
Brian fucking Bosworth, man.
They're using the tracking wheel.
Oh yeah.
Please be kind and rewind.
Absolutely.
Oh man, guilty pleasure there. That's a winner chicken dinner right there. Holy crap, dude. Man, I don't even know what to say. You just shocked me. That was total shock and awe. Total fucking shock and awe, man. Guilty pleasure. Oh God. Oh God.
Come
Let's
on,
see
you can
here.
admit it's Sweet Home Alabama. We all know.
No, it's Brokeback Mountain.
I can't with you.
I don't know. You know what, man? I can't say guilty pleasure, but I mean, it's a movie I always go back and watch it over and over again. But again, it's not because it's a shitty movie. Shawshank Redemption. But I mean, that's not a guilty pleasure based on what you just
guilty.
Based on what you just whipped out. Holy shit, man! Oh man. You know what?
Oh, yeah.
Can I come back to that and give me a second to think?
Yeah, you're good.
Move
Sure.
Question number 6: Who is your all-time favorite actor or actress?
Well, I don't want to say this because really this will answer to the question of the character.
Just answer it. Who is it?
You already gave it away.
Yeah,
I really did because it's really the same person. But we'll say actually, I'll say 2 people.
Okay.
One, I'll change it up. This man right here.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Clint Eastwood.
Right. Yep, that's a good choice.
Absolutely.
All right, Dustin, your favorite actor?
Well, I'll go back and answer my guilty pleasure movie first. Oh God, because it is a terrible movie. I'm sorry, and you guys might like it. I don't know.
Magic Mike.
No, Fast and Furious.
Oh, I love them. I love them all. Oh, they're terrible, and I love them.
It's so terrible because I mean, well, first of all, yeah, they're all just, but whatever. The first one though, for some reason,
amazing.
That's definitely a guilty pleasure movie. Favorite actor. I would definitely have to say probably just because we were talking about action movies and stuff. I love Stallone so much, man.
Nice. Very cool.
And he's not even really a great actor. I know that, but he just,
have you seen
man.
Did you see King of Tulsa?
Are you kidding me? Probably the best work he's ever done.
I'm 4 episodes into it, and every day I try to find time to at least watch one more because I think that is a really solid show. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
I mean, that is probably one of the best roles he's ever done. It makes me mad that he wasn't casted in Goodfellas. You know what I mean? He plays the best mobster I've seen in a long time.
Well, and I feel like I'm sure he's involved with the writing and creative process, but I feel like he's doing a good job of embracing the fact that he's 75 years old.
Yes.
And they've worked it into the plot to a plausible way. And I'm like, I appreciate the fact he's addressing that he's not a 25-year-old that can go beat up all these people.
Dude, and he looks like he's 50. I mean, HGH will do that for you, but the dude looks like he's 50, maybe 60, and he's 75.
I mean, let's be honest, bro. Arnold and Sly are both still killing it physicality wise. I mean, yeah, like you said, man, they did their days of juice, and hell, I be honest with you, I think Stallone is still taking HGH, to be honest with you.
Wouldn't be surprised.
But hey, I mean, damn, yeah.
All right, Mr. Mayor, question number 7.
Who is your favorite director of all time?
Ooh, okay. Ridley Scott.
Okay.
That's a very good choice. Lots of good stuff on his resume.
Not lately, but in some
yeah. It's not been lately. You're right. You're in the past, yeah.
Mark?
Probably because I love the man, that's tough. That's actually a tough one. I didn't think about this one. But
Sergio Leone?
Probably Sergio Leone, yeah.
I can see that.
Probably him. Because which we need to do an episode on Western. No, that'll
I mean, I'll gladly do an episode on Westerns as long as you'll talk for 90% of it.
I'll talk for all of you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Shane will talk about Shane and pretty much
I'll talk about
else.
Shane. Yep, that's about it.
Which RoboCop is really a hidden.
It's a Western. That's right. It is. Absolutely it is.
Yep. Never thought of that, but I also cannot argue that. That's yeah. Huh.
Remember the new gun comes into town, he gets gunned down, gets resurrected.
Yeah.
Right? Comes back, takes out the bad guys, throw him the gun. Absolutely. Yeah.
There needed to be a lot more dick shooting in old Westerns though.
Yeah,
that's my favorite part. Yeah.
All right, question number 8. Who is your favorite movie character of all time?
Ooh, favorite movie character.
Mark, I already know your answer.
Go ahead.
Well, I think I'm picking up on this already.
I was ready for this, dude. Yeah.
Man with no name?
No.
Dirty Harry. Okay.
It's really, yeah, dude, you got Blondie, Josie Wales. I could have picked Josie Wales.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great character. Yeah. Shit. Well,
all good answers.
Yeah, all of them were good. but yeah, it's Dirty Harry, dude, all day.
Makes sense.
Well, I grew up with that. Like I said, Dad, when he was like he was a cop early 80s. So dude, Hill Street Blues, all the Dirty Harry films, like dude, that was like, dude, I was a kid and I was watching this, so like Star Wars was cool. But I was out there like
with real guns.
I want to be Callahan, dude. So
nice. That's an awesome answer. Dustin?
Favorite character, Darth Vader, man.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
I literally almost creamed on myself when I saw them bring Darth Vader back in those recent what was it? The Mandalorian
series?
Yeah, the Obi-Wan series. Yeah, Obi-Wan series. Yeah, I was like, holy shit.
Mr. Mayor, question number 9.
Question number 9. What's your favorite snack for the movies when you go to a movie theater?
Reese's Pieces.
Nice. Very good choice.
So back in the day, when I first started working, when we were at General Cinema back then, freaking the bag of Reese's Pieces was a half-pound bag.
Oh my God.
If you ate that in one sitting, it felt like you were going to go in a diabetic coma.
Yep.
And you felt like shit for 2 days afterwards.
Yep.
I'd hate to think what I would do if I ate half of a pound of Reese's Pieces.
No shit.
At least I was in my teens when I did it then. So
yeah,
I used to dump it into the popcorn and eat it with the popcorn.
Nice. I've heard that's good. Mark?
Sour Patch Kids.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Good choice. I get down on some Sour Patch Kids.
Yep.
All right. And question number 10, the last question. My favorite question to ask people because I love to hear their answers. If we were making the Dustin Atteberry movie or the Mark Buckwalter movie, who would you want cast to play yourself?
Oh my God, that is a tough one. Who would I want to be casted as myself? Jesus.
So I haven't been able to.
Tom Hanks.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That one coming. I mean, I understand it. You're going to make $1 billion.
Back when he was funny, though.
I'm going to give you this. I haven't been able to figure out Mark yet, but as the episode's gone on, and I've been getting back into Dustin Atteberry in my life, I see the skinny version of Jerry Ferrara.
Oh, okay.
From Entourage, like once he lost all the weight, that's with just because he got the backwards hat and the beard on, like that's who I've been picturing this whole episode while we've been recording. Mark, who played Sabretooth in the original X-Men? Tyler Mane.
Oh,
that's who I would cast for you, Tyler Mane. That's what I've got. Mark, who do you want? Who do you want cast for you?
Resemblance wise?
I mean, like, just who you want to play you. I said I wanted Brad Pitt to be cast as me. Doesn't fucking look like me, but that's who I want to look like me.
Oh, then since I mentioned him earlier, Thomas Jane. I want him to play me.
I could get down for that.
And
here's the thing. At the beginning, at the beginning of the Mark Buckwalter movie, though, it's Mark Buckwalter dying, and that's played by Clint Eastwood. And then it flashes back
there it is. To
Thomas Jane as the younger Mark Buckwalter.
I'm sorry it became Clint Eastwood night, but I gotta be honest.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
You know what's hilarious is Shane, you were like getting some Dustin Atteberry back in our lives and going back. I'm sitting there flashing back to high school, and I'm thinking about Dustin in high school, and I'm like, you know who'd be perfect is Channing Tatum.
I wouldn't argue that either.
Jesus Christ.
And then Mark, if I was gonna cast you, Mark, like I'll thinking back on our days of you being like the football guy that you were in high school, and thinking of like that's where I go back most of the time when I bring people on for these questionnaires, right? It's like I'm thinking about when we first met more so than like now. And what cracks me up is like I think of the guy from the program that does
Lattimore.
Does the steroids and gets caught or whatever. Not because you did those by any means, but like that character is like, because you were such a killer on that football field, man. That's who I always think of when I'm flipping that back switch.
Lattimore, and he also played Leatherface, huh?
Oh yeah, he did. Yep,
he did play Leatherface. That's right.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to. Oh, it's not even gonna show it. Oh, bummer. Dustin, the blonde hair, man.
You know who I saw not too long ago? I guess it would have been like 2 or 3 years ago now. Was and thinking back on this makes me laugh because I'm like totally would be played by Mark Paul Gosselaar. Was I ran into Chris Wojciechowski.
Oh,
what?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you did not.
Swear to God, man, he was a manager at the Texas Roadhouse right by my house. Yeah, I went in there and like he served us, and like he was in the manager training program or whatever, and I'm sitting there and I'm eating with the family, and I handed him my card to pay, and like I had that moment of like, I think I know that guy, but I'm probably just like I saw him somewhere once, whatever. And so he came back after I paid, and he was like, I thought this was you, and I looked up and he was like, Chris Wojciechowski. I was like, holy shit, dude. And like,
you know
I gave him a hug. That kid was
oh my God. You know how many times I've tried to find him, but I can't for the life of me remember how to fucking spell Wojciechowski.
Dude,
I have no clue how to spell it.
Yeah. He always with those big old the sweaters he used to always wear.
Yes.
Hair, the way he had it always made me think of Mark Paul Gosselaar and think of Zach Morris back in the day.
Wojciechowski, Jesus Christ. Wow, what a name from the past there.
Yep. spent way too much time with that kid in high school.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah.
Me, him,
now
and Wayne.
Now I hang out with John Owens, who is my pastor. Like,
wow. Yeah, that is strange.
So
Jesus.
All right, guys. Well, tonight was an absolute blast. I appreciate both of you guys being on here.
It was fun. Thank you for inviting me. Seriously.
Absolutely, man. It was a lot of fun to talk movies. Mark, we got a little bit of talking out of you more than I expected.
No, well, it's good. Hey,
do you have other props? You mentioned I saw some props, but did you have other props you didn't pull out tonight?
Well, I wouldn't call them props. I mean, they're just. I mean, I just got guns sitting everywhere. You know, like just sitting there. You know, like. But I don't know if you call those props. But
sure, they were in movies.
Like I said, if you do one-on westerns, man.
Yeah,
I'll help you host the show, man.
We'll put that on a list eventually.
I don't know if you're well versed in.
I might have seen five westerns in my life. I'm trying to think, like maybe.
The Way of the Dog,
I watched a Django. Does that count?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I saw that.
Yeah, that's a western. No, go watch Lee Van Cleef, Death Rides a Horse. That's a great western. Not a lot of people know that one.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, great western.
I love Mark's background though. I got to give it to you, Mark.
He's got a Back to the Future poster up, the X2 poster up, a bunch of
definitely
Punisher
ready.
posters.
Yeah, he's definitely ready to talk movies.
Yeah.
The Wolverine cover, which one is that? Like, I know it's like a.
That's limited. Version? That's number one. That's the Frank Miller and Chris Claremont. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
actually based. It was actually based on Jack Nicholson.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, so you kind of see Jack in that. Yeah,
I see it.
I've always thought that Jack Nicholson, if he would have been, if that movie would have came out at a different time, he would have been the perfect Wolverine for Old Man Logan.
Interesting. Yeah. Huh.
And actually, to speak on X-Men, I still say this. I don't know what Jay would think. I mean, I still love 1 and 2. For me, like a Claremont, that era with John Burns or even all that. To me, we haven't seen X-Men on film yet.
Interesting.
Yeah. We haven't seen it yet. And I love Hugh Jackman. I think Halle Berry's fine, but we have not. Yeah, we haven't seen X-Men yet. Not what they really are in the. You go back to those books, with especially the John Burns one.
Yeah, like especially if you think like on that kind of thought process with those guys, I would agree with you on that, Mark. It's just that I don't know if we could see that X-Men at all ever. That's the other trouble.
No,
because it's kind of like the Avengers that we got in the MCU isn't the Avengers from the comics, and that's fine. I think I don't know if you could have done the Avengers a whole lot better. I think it's really interesting considering the fact that, man, like, I pulled up Avengers Endgame on IMDb the other day to look at something, and I was like, you literally, like, there is not a non-superstar in that entire cast. Like, it's like, how the hell do you afford to give all of those people screen time, money? Like, and don't get me wrong, Endgame was one of the biggest movies of all time. But it's still one of those. It's an amazing feat to have pulled off. It'll be interesting once the MCU actually introduces the X-Men. I'm hoping it happens. I'm hoping the writing gets better in the MCU if they're gonna give me the X-Men.
No doubt.
But still, it's kind of like our baby, right? Like that's what we grew up on. Pretty much all of us, as far as comic books, if you think about it. Like I liked Batman and Superman before the X-Men cartoon came out, but like the X-Men cartoon and the X series at that point in the 90s was like
amazing. Yeah.
So absolutely,
it's on a different level for sure. So.
All right. Well, we've passed our 2-hour mark, so we're going to go ahead and cut it short here. Appreciate it, guys. It was a blast talking to everybody. Dustin, it was great catching up with you, man, seeing how great life is going for you, brother.
Yeah, man.
Mark, as always, it's fun. Looking forward to watching Scream with you soon.
Absolutely.
Yep. It's going to be a blast. And then hopefully hopefully sometime this summer we find some filming to do.
Dustin, yeah, we can wrap up. We're good.
Cool. We're good. Right on. We'll talk after we're done. Hopefully, I'm going to have one more bit to add on to the very end of this. I need to contact Jason's brother Dave tomorrow and beg him to record one little short clip for us as our outro segment. So hopefully I'm throwing this over to Dave now, or I'm going to cut this all out.